While the cat's away, the mice will play. Even if the atmospheric conditions aren't very good for a gas forge with nothing resembling a regulator in it. Hello and welcome back to DarkenEmber Forge. Today I'm going to take this chunk of steel. I'm going to make a hook out of it that is vaguely mushroom themed for a mushroom gathering bag. A foraging bag? Yeah, let's call it foraging bag. I say mushroom gathering bag. You might get the wrong idea. See you at the anvil. Only I had a hot cut. The most accurate of measurements, of course. Here we get to see a little investment of mine, a 1-inch thick chunk of 1018 mild steel that I can use both to warm up the face of the anvil and also as a backdrop for chiseling. It's big enough and heavy enough that it doesn't move very much. It's very convenient so far. Having cut the slot with the slit chisel, I go back to the hot cut chisel to try to force it open a little wider before moving to the anvil edge. I'm trying to essentially bend these out to make a bit of a T. When my forge died, I went over in a bit of anger, trying to see what was going on. It was behaving as though it was completely out of propane. Since I had just hooked up a fresh tank earlier that morning, I knew that couldn't be the case, but I was running on the assumption that the young fellow who filled up my tank had maybe accidentally left a valve open or something, and that my tank had completely ran dry. Either that or having to turn it up as high as I did to get it to even do anything burnt 9 gallons of propane in like a half an hour, which also seems unreasonable. When I hooked it back up, I was very excited because the forge was running beautifully, suggesting that the fault was all mine. Ironically enough, though, now it makes even more noise, even if it isn't sputtering and spitting. Even though I'm excited and trying to speak, most of what I'm saying is drowned out, so I think we'll keep up with this after the fact commentary. Nope, a little too wide for that, I think. Getting there. From here we're going to flatten this down, stretch it a bit before we come back and maybe try to round up a touch more near the end. But for now, let's work on the stem of the mushroom and go from there. Alright, let's spread her out a bit. How best? Maybe just taper it a touch. Probably be the way to go. Yeah, we'll start with that. That's going to be one I get with the file, I think. Well, that did something. Ah, well. That's pretty much back online again. Not very hot right now, as I'm sure you can tell. I'm mostly marking at this point. Yeah, sort of marking. Sort of worked. The question of how to continue, well, that's another story. Maybe if I'm really, really careful, I can pull it off like that. Alright, I'll try it. If I had an extra set of hands, this would be a great time to use my flatter. Okay, so we pinched her in, now let's pinch her in the other dimension. I'm trying to use what you call half-face blows here, where roughly half of the hammer is over the anvil and half is over the edge there, which will force the top of this mushroom hook down over the edge, thinning out the stem while leaving the head original size. Alright, yeah. By setting it down here, leaving the mushroom top thicker, this will give me a little bit of room to work a little three-dimensionalness into this. More heat. Why am I not getting very easy to spot? Good enough for what I need it for, I suppose. Hooray. No, not quite. Almost. You know, good enough, I said. Good enough. Alright. 2 brick. Now, why did I put that hole in there? We're about to find out. Glad that didn't go down point first. I'm pretty proud of how straight that is. Not gonna lie. For me, that is a victory right there. If I'm doing a drop counter, there was one more out there. What are we doing now? Working one end without working the other. Because the mushroom head is already on the top part, hammering this down into the sledge block will be trickier than the other one. So I think I'm just going to give this sort of a shape with the hammer, and we'll go from there. Though I am going to get out my guillotine tool to do a little butcher, but I think I'll get the top part a little better shape before I do that. I'm trying to work this on the corner here so that as I throw these diagonal hammer blows into it, it kind of pushes it down over the edge. I think I can work with that. Definitely looks unmentionable on YouTube. As promised, here's my butcher tool. As you can see, the dies are very close to each other on one end. Well, they're touching now because it's sitting on itself. And then they angle out. This kind of pinches in and then has a little more gradual rise. These dies are made by myself, so if something goes wrong, I got nobody but myself to blame. So I want to pinch it just behind that mushroom head. Gotta stop saying that. Now the trickiest part will be drawing this out, I think. Partially because I have this other chunk in the way. What's the other partial part to that? Heck if I remember. I was hoping now that I had this piece to set into, that isn't going to work, is it? That's going to be loud, but it will work. There we go. That forced it outside. Around the outside. Much like the other one, we set that one down to give it a little differentiation. Now I need to draw that out more. More heat before I bend that. So now we do the exact same thing again, just better and faster this time, right? Man, I'm not good at that. I bet you'll be able to see it pretty well that I'm going in at an angle, and it's not as straight up and down as I think it is. Setting down the shoulders first was obviously the way to go, as that second leg went much faster than the first one. Yep, that'll work for now. Kinda looks like I've made some kind of weird alien right now, doesn't it? I don't know why I'm trying to continue to punch it after it's cooled off so much. Habit, I guess. And one about there. Can't quite tweezer it off. Well, pretty much. Come on, get up. Let me go. Okay, those need a touch more drifting out after putting the countersink. Clockwise for you. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Alright. 3 turns clockwise. Don't let me forget that. Okay, this one needs to go 3 turns counterclockwise. Or anti-clockwise, or widdershins, whatever you want to call it. Though it looks like it needs to go more, but it was a little bit longer, I think. Nope. Still the easiest way to whack it from the end. Oh, did I let that cool too much? Maybe. Yep, probably. Okay. Shake. Well, surely that won't cause me any problems. Okay, there is our shape primarily finished. I have the mushroom mushroom on the head coming down into its mycelium, I suppose. But yeah, go into the two smaller mushrooms. I was wondering about a little assorted decoration to try to make it a little more mushroomy up top, though I think the shape might be good enough. I was considering trying to smack in some gills using one of my chisels there. Give it a little, I don't know, mushroom impression. I think I might do that still. That just shows off how screwy that was underneath. In the center where I cut it, it was a lot, well, there was kind of a hole there. It was thinner than the rest. So I've essentially tapered up to that, the line that I chiseled in. That'll give me a little bit of room that after I kind of sand her off and pretty her up a touch, it will still have some work room left. Alright, gonna heat her up and give this a little scratch with the old chisel and make her look more like gills. That sort of gives it a gill look. In a lot of cases, it's just sort of catching the essence of it, so to speak. Giving the idea, giving the brain enough to fill in the gaps. Our brains are really good at that. Alright, one more thing. Not get well done at all. Hard times. Blue days, black nights. There we go. Now, more or less. Anyway, now that that's done, I'm going to take her inside, give her a bit of a cleanup, a little grind, a little file. I don't figure need to show that yet again, but I'll bring you back to finish her up. We'll probably be inside at that time. So here we are. I know I promised to bring you back when it was time to finish, but I had my oven heated up, so I just sort of tucked it in and let it warm up. It was running about 400, cooking some potatoes and baking some potatoes. So I tucked it in there to see if sitting in a 400-degree oven for about an hour would get it hot enough to brush with the old brass brush to color slightly. So I pulled it out to test it. You can very faintly see it with the, well, as crusty as it is, it didn't really take all that much color. I think a little hotter would have worked much better. But I did manage to get a bit of a brassy sheen to it to give it sort of a, I don't know, a brown earthy tone. But yeah, when I pulled it out of the oven and started brushing on it, it was working very well, so I just finished it and then said, oh yeah, I was supposed to record that. Without further ado, I suppose, let's get to it. I've already put a pilot hole in. And hunted down my little screwdriver that I had lost. Though now I'm going to have to ask the big questions. Do I want this to sit mostly up and down, or do I want to turn it so that the hook part is relatively level? It's not going to be completely level, nor does it need to be completely level. The thing about a bag strap is that it's flexible, and it can just sort of hook pretty much wherever it ends up. But it's more a question of what will look better. I kind of like that. Okay, too far. All of the exciting footage. We get some scintillating caliper action, and now we'll get a little hammer and screwdriver. Yeah. It's everybody's favorite, after all, I'm sure. This is the kind of thing, if I was making something like this for sale or whatnot, I would probably get some little brassy screws to go with it so that the whole thing matched, as opposed to having these little ugly bright shiny things in it. Or at least burn them a little, like a good old Black Bear Forge, to make them look a little more antiquated and pretty. Now I guess we will hang the bag. Such complete and utter lack of decorum. Well, this was just a quick one to get this basket hung up while my girlfriend was out of the house and on a little trip. Give her something fun and cute to welcome her home. Like many of the other things I've made, I would not sell this. It is just too rough. Admittedly, I wanted it to look a little distressed and a little rustic, but it's better if that's intentional distressed and rustic, and not just I didn't clean out the spots well enough distressed and rustic. Please like if you like, don't if you didn't. If you're enjoying seeing my journey, please drop a subscribe. Just hit 100 recently, so that's pretty cool to me. I know it seems such a small milestone, but it's huge. And as always, have a wonderful day. If I die and my soul stops